Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Dan McKee, Lieutenant Governor of Rhode Island, and every Wednesday evening we're here talking about important things that are happening in our state, and tonight is no exception. We're very fortunate to be able to be talking about two projects that our office has been involved in, but it's required leadership from many, many people throughout the state. One of them, I'll just kind of give you an overview. We started a International Economic Ambassador program. We launched it in January of all things. And the idea was that we were going to take advantage of people who lived in the state of Rhode Island and that had networks outside the country, and that we were going to pin them up and have them be ambassadors for the state of Rhode Island as they traveled to other countries. No travel right now because of the virus. And I always remind everybody, we stay healthy, stay safe. I have my Hope mask tonight with me. Wear the mask, keep the social distancing, and make sure that we're washing our hands. We need the economy to open up. We need our schools to open up. But anyways, that International Economic Ambassador program we've pinned many individuals, a handful of individuals who have networks in other countries, and we're going to hear from two of them tonight, both Avi Neville and Oscar Mejias, who Oscar's involved with the Hispanic Chamber in Rhode Island, and Avi is involved with a network of businesses in Israel, and we're going to talk about a partnership that is developed because of that Economic Ambassador program, and they're going to talk to you about what that looks like and why that's important to Rhode Island. So the other issue is we've been working on for quite some time with a core group of people that have to do with the first terrorist attack in our country against the United States soldiers, which happened in Beirut in 1983, October 23rd, 1983. And we've just dedicated a fabulous monument in their memory, and it's just an indication that the state of Rhode Island is, all in with our veterans, all in with our, the people who have been out there defending us and defending our freedoms. And we know freedom's not free, and you're going to hear from a core group of people there. Before I start, I just want to, again, I've talked about many things: the safety issues, the small business issues. Anybody who is out there, please call our office if you have any questions that are important to you right now, whether they're COVID related or not. Small businesses as well. The Small Business Grant Program. The state has appropriated $50 million. Certainly a part of our efforts have made that possible for small businesses. We want to encourage all small businesses out there to apply for that Restore Rhode Island grant. So we need to make sure that happens. And the other pieces has to do with education. Because of education being interrupted as it has, our public schools are back to a certain degree, but we have our students. And it doesn't matter if our students are high income, low income, moderate income, minority, non-minority. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're at a public school or charter, the charter school, public schools, or our private schools, or if you're living in Rhode Island and you're a student, you're losing hundreds of hours of learning time. And what are we going to do about that? And I'm advocating that we really look seriously into something that I did as a mayor of Cumberland, which I was a mayor of our town for 12 years and opened up a mayor's office for education, a municipal education office that operates 52 weeks out of the year. And we're able to bring in educators to provide education from pre-kindergarten all the way through high school in many ways: reading, math, sciences, art, music. This is how you're going to supplement. This is a good, easy path, an affordable path to actually supplement all these lost hours of learning time. That's going to impact our families, our students, their earning power, and our economy. So we got to take this serious, and we need to make sure that we have a plan. And we're working on that right now. We'll be having programs. And anybody who's interested in getting in that discussion about education, small business, health issues, call our office or email us at the email that Ben put up there. Finally, I want to just say to everyone, let's make sure that we're staying healthy, and share this. Please share this out with your network. we have thousands of people that are reached every week on this program, and a lot of that has to do with people sharing, what's going to be talked about tonight. You're going to enjoy this. This is about bringing communities together, and it's about honoring our men and women who have served in our country in a way that is appropriate, and that it's and we remember them. So let's bring on Avi, Ben, and our Consul General. We have a special guest tonight from Israel, which represents a lot of the work that Oscar's here as well from the Hispanic Chamber. But Avi, we've been able to, and you've been able to, really, pivot in a way on our international ambassador program, which you have been pinned in our office as well as Oscar has. But we have been doing international calls now for several months. Tell us a little bit about this, and please introduce our special guest here from, representing Israel, our Consul General.
Okay. So first of all, Lieutenant Gap.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear me? Okay. Thank you first, Lieutenant Governor, for inviting me to be on the program and for your leadership. Later, we'll talk about the program and how we got there. And it's not something that happened yesterday, but it's an evolution. And as I always blame you, it's partially your fault because you introduced me to Oscar Mejias. And it's not only become a partnership between our organization, but also a personal friendship. And that's what it's all about, is people being friends, and your leadership is amazing on that. But I have an honor, and I'll keep going on the program, to introduce the Israeli Consul General, Ambassador Zev Boker. Ambassador Boker came to New England in 2018 in October, and there is a slide, so there is some bios there too. And he came from Ireland, where he was ambassador to Ireland. So I think, he, probably Boston and Ireland, there is some similarity, even though I think Boston is a much more, and New England, friendly place to Israel. He was the first ambassador of Israel to Slovakia. As a matter of fact, he was born in a kibbutz. To those who don't know, it's like a settlement in the northern Israel, and I came to find out that I lived in the town when I was a kid, literally 6-7 miles from that kibbutz. The ambassador have master in political science, and he was deputy advisor to the late Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, and he fulfilled other duties. And one of the things that when you work with people, you learn to meet them and to work with them, and he became a great friend. But this program that we will talk about today would never, ever happen without the Consul General. When we had the idea, and I'll explain about Wix, which is a platform to put web pages, we did not go too far. And I called him and I said, Ambassador Boker, could you help me? And he went all the way up to the foreign ministry in Israel through their connection, and then it went to Wix, and then it came back. And everything happened before COVID. And then obviously the day literally they said yes, and then the day after that COVID started and they said no. But he helped us again, and we back on track. And so I can only say there is no word of gratitude for me to the Consul General for his effort, for his friendship, and to those who don't know, he's going back to Israel. I'll miss you personally, and I got to meet your family as well, and hopefully we can travel again and meet you there. So, Ambassador, please, it's yours. Thank you again.
And good evening to you all. And first of all, Avi, I want to thank you warmly for your very, very kind words directly from your heart. And I really cherish our friendship, not only on the professional level, but really as former neighbors and neighbors now, me being at Boston and you at Rhode Island. And thank you also for you chairing the Rhode Island Israel Collaborative, the Rhode Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce also. We are thankful for you to being a partner, and also for weeks of their partnership and initiative. I also want to thank warmly to our friend, Lieutenant Governor Daniel McKee, for welcoming us tonight and welcoming us in the last 2 years for many, many projects of cooperation between Rhode Island and our consulate. We are happy to support and help in this venture, which will bring Israel digital innovation to empower the local Hispanic small business and give Hispanic college students an opportunity to sharpen their entrepreneurship skills. This innovative partnership brings the best of two worlds together. The Israeli startup spirit through the web development platform of Wix and Rhode Island diverse Hispanic community. This is just another example of the strong bilateral relations between Israel and Rhode Island. A relationship highlighted also by Governor Jana Raimondo during her visit to Israel in 2019, for me and Avi having the pleasure and privilege to join her partly to her visit. Rhode Island and Israel have worked together most recently to address the COVID-19 crisis. In March, Governor Raimondo issued a press release introducing an application developed by Israeli technology company Diagnostic Robotics to help the state contact trace sick patients. As we all cope with the COVID-19 challenges, it is important to highlight equity, even in entrepreneurship, especially to minority groups that have been most affected during the pandemic. The Jewish value of Tikkun Olam, to repair the world, is of emphasis to the State of Israel and to our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, even more importantly in times of need. Recently, our consulate donated personal protection to our neighbors and community. We hope that our support to this initiative will be a continuation of this work to positively impact the next generation of minority business leaders. We look forward to promoting and endorsing this project that will have socio-economic benefits not only for Rhode Island, for the entire region as a whole. Israel, the startup nation, remains committed to cooperate with our friends and allies. Stay safe, stay healthy, and shalom to you all.
Thank you.
Well, Consul General, thank you very much. And, I know that you may have to leave, but you're more than welcome to stay, for this conversation. But you had, as Avi just mentioned, you have a lot to do with. And one of our goals was exactly what you just said, was in Rhode Island, we have many, many different people representing many different countries all over the world as residents in our state. And our goal has been to reach out to all those networks outside of us, outside of our state, outside of our country. But it's also our goal is inside of our state is to create these partnerships between those communities, those very diverse communities. This example that you've supported is just extraordinary, and it's helping us as a state, especially in a time frame when we're separated in many different ways, to connect ourselves in a very healthy and an opportunistic way right now to help the state of Rhode Island. In this particular case, the help is going to come into the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we have multiple different programs impacting in a positive way all our communities, all our 39 cities and towns, and the communities that make up our state. So thank you so much. And I want to give Oscar a chance to speak before you have to leave. But again, you're welcome to stay during the program and the presentation of the program. So Oscar, thank you. Again, thank you for your leadership and connecting in a way that really shows in Rhode Island, we believe that all communities matter and that, all communities are important, and we're here to support one another in any way that we possibly can. So Oscar, welcome. And thank you for your leadership at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I'm glad to be here sharing our project. Very excited about that. And thank you, Mr. Boker, for all your support from the beginning. You are an important part of this project, so thank you very much. As you mentioned, Lieutenant, the International Ambassador Group has been a very, very good group. And I had the opportunity to meet Avi. Again, you are guilty for that, but it's a great opportunity to connect both communities. And we have been participating in events and programs in every one of the organizations. And I think that this project is the result of that friendship and that connection, because Avi is a person that all the time shows the his concern about how our communities could do better. So it's a great thing that we have that coincidence in our spirit to help the community. So I'm very grateful for connect with him and work together to help our Latino business community.
Yeah, thanks. And we know that there's support that came from the Consul General, and also there's been some, financial help to get the program off the ground. But Oscar, why don't you just give us a quick overview of what the program looks like, and then we'll get into the PowerPoint to get into more of the details and how you're going to actually implement this and the time frame, and how you're going to identify these small businesses that we've been working very hard with you to get resources out to our business community. And what an important time right now is, as the ambassador mentioned, involved with the COVID-19 and impacted communities. And the Hispanic community, we can't deny the fact that it's been a heavily impacted community, and we need to be honest about that. And but yeah, give us a little overview of how it's going to work and how this partnership is going to evolve and make a big difference in the lives of many small businesses and their families in the state of Rhode Island.
Yes, I will do a brief overview because the PowerPoint is more explicit and have more detail, but definitely is a great opportunity to help our business, Latino business community. As everybody knows, the Latino has been one of the highest impacted by the coronavirus. So with this project, we know that the business owners are in a very complicated situation. And we want to teach them how the technology now is not a luxury, it's a key component in the business model to face the challenges that we have in the near future. So in this project, we are integrating the community with the students, bilingual students of the college and university. So they will integrate with the business community in order to create websites and to bring all our business in technology. I say all, I would like to help all of them, but we will start with just 50 of them. But it's great opportunity to bring together our community to benefit the community, the economy of the state, but also to clarify and bring in tools, technology tools to our business in order to progress in the economy of the state. So we will have more detail during the presentation. So I think that I will give the path to that.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a minute. I just want to give Avi and Ambassador Bouquet an opportunity just to, if there's something else you would like to add, Avi, before we get into the presentation, or please weigh in.
I think I will lead it to the presentation when we head it. But again, I want to thank the Consul General and to your leadership and your support, because you both are instrumental. And I sincerely say, if not you guys too, that will not have happened. So really, for me, it's just feeling good that we can help the community and be relevant. And it's another of those puzzles pieces that we connect Israel and Rhode Island in a positive way to better the lives of people.
Yeah, it's there. All right, and Consul General, are you going to be able to stay for the presentation, or is this something that you need to kind of move on?
I will stay for the beginning of the presentation, and again, I would like to take short opportunity again to thank you all, the Lieutenant Governor Oscar, and especially my friend Avi. I was touched by your warm words, and I'm not going to leave New England before meeting you. So you will have to find a way to get to me, or you'll find some way to break the siege of the quarantine. No, well, I don't take it seriously. I don't take it seriously. But really, thank you all, and Lieutenant Governor, I will be happy to meet you in Israel. I think you will be welcome guest in the near future when the flights will be renewed.
Let's make that happen as soon as the world opens up again. But for now, we've been using this platform and our International Economic Ambassador Program, and you've been so generous with your time, as other people in Israel have, for to share this information, not just of what we're talking about tonight in this partnership between the Israel Collaborative here in Rhode Island and the Rhode Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, but we've talked about multiple issues that have to do with health, has to do with education. These are very, very valuable things that we're able to, share with one another. And this platform, this virtual platform, has allowed us to do that in a way that we would never have been able to do unless we had people like Avi, who would really help us start the ambassador program, and Oscar and others. We would never have this network available to us, and we're taking advantage of it. So I want to thank you as well. And let's make that happen before you leave, or till we get together, or when you're in Israel. We'll definitely put that on our calendar, and we'll have Avi he's the master of that travel arrangements. We'll put him in charge.
Avi, just maybe one sentence before I leave you and let you continue. And again, Avi has not yet joined our foreign ministry, but I think he's one of the most respected ambassadors, even behind not yet being a career diplomat. You can be a good ambassador without being a career diplomat. And I think me and Avi were also instrumental of another channel, which I think we opened. I know, Lieutenant Governor, you were an integral part of it, having the direct communication with our Ministry of Health and our Minister of Education to exchange views about how to cope with the pandemic. Israel, unfortunately, is not in the best situation now, but I'm sure we will overcome it. And also thanks to your advice, and I said future advice.
Well, we'll keep those lines of communication open. It's so valuable to Rhode Island, and we hope that you're getting value out of it as well, Ambassador.
Thank you and good luck.
Yes, great. Oscar, let's get into the program, the details. I just want to let people know that are watching this, share this out, and also this is the type of efforts that we're trying to make. If you have contacts in other parts of the world, contact our office. We want you involved in this International Economic Ambassador Program. I can tell you before you start, Oscar, I'm doing this Take It Outside program, meeting with businesses all around the state. Yesterday, we were in North Smithfield, which is Paulette Hamilton's hometown, and we met a very unique artist and photographer who has got a program that you're going to want to hear about that has got really strong connections into Guatemala, Peru, and that area of the world, and bringing their art back here, selling it in a nonprofit, and then those dollars are going back and helping those communities that really, really are desperately in need of those resources. So this program that you're doing here is just a piece of that, but it's such an important one. So please share with everybody that's watching this. And I ask you again, if you're listening to this now live, share it out to your network. This is an example of actually working together across different communities in the state of Rhode Island in a way that's really productive. So please share this out. Oscar,
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you. No, I will give the voice to our friend Avi, and we will be sharing the explanation of the slide. So, my friend Avi, you are the leader now.
Thank you, Oscar, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor, again, and thank you, the Ambassador. So basically what we did, we prepared a PowerPoint presentation, and the key is that things don't happen, just kind of happen. There is history to them, and we wanted to give credit. So first of all, a little bit about our organization. Oscar will speak about the Hispanic Chamber to those who don't know. But the Rhode Island Israel Collaborative was formed only 3 years ago. We are a non-for-profit, all-volunteer organization, including myself. And our mission is very simple. It's to connect Rhode Island and Israel in business, economic, and academia. And I'm very pleased that we have multiple successes. The RI Hub was a contribution that we brought to the table. The visit of the governor, we assisted in it, and many other programs. And I think Oscar, please talk about the chamber.
Yes, the Rhode Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce was created in 2016. It's a brand new organization too. And it was created initially to promote, to represent, and to empower our Latino business community, to connect with other business, with other community, and of course, to improve the performance of our business. We have been growing really, really fast in the last 4 years, creating a platform of resource in order to provide technical assistance, connections, training, and other benefits to our Latino business community. So has been very, very active since March when the pandemic started, and we keep doing a great job promoting and helping our business to take advantage of all those programs and initiatives that the government has been putting in place. So this is the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we can continue.
So, as I said, things don't happen just waking up in the morning and it happens. So there is history, and as I said, I blame the lieutenant governor. In February, that we had a third event since we started in 2017. The lieutenant governor honored us to participate. We did it with Rhode Island Bio. It's called Collaboration Opportunities in Digital Health. And when he came, he said, Avi, you have to meet this guy, Oscar Mejias. I said, okay. So sure enough, we had another event, and Rhode Island meets Present Tense. It's an Israeli startup that helps underserved communities, and Oscar came. So March 2019, we met for the first time, and then we had the first joint event together in June 2019, learning startup culture from Rhode Island Latino community, from Israeli innovation. We had Eitan Yudelevich, the head of the Bird Foundation. He himself was born in Argentina and then moved to Israel. And then we had Khalud Ayuti. She's an Israeli Arab Muslim, an unbelievable person. She runs Present Tense, and she visited us with us 2 days here. And the lieutenant governor met her. And then recently we had an event about Israeli women entrepreneur helping underserved community, and we did it with Oscar and his team. Oscar, so here are 2 pictures.
Well, we have a collage of all those opportunities that we have been sharing events, and we have been supporting each other. So we have here the first meeting. We have the lieutenant governor in some of those events too. We have, for example, the visit of Khalud. That was great. We were in Central Falls and Pawtucket, connecting the cities with them, with that Present Tense, a very, very excellent organization. So this is just a collage, and a small collage of all the events that we have been working together.
Okay. So Wix, we have a partner in this, and it's Wix. Wix is an Israeli software company, and that's an Israeli connection here. They're on NASDAQ today, and basically what they do, they provide a platform to make web pages. Some of them very easy. They can be very sophisticated. In 2013, they were on NASDAQ, and as you can see, in 2019, sales went to 1 billion. And it's a multinational company today. There are about 180 million users registered in 190 countries around the world. And so they're really big. And I'm so happy that we were able, through the Consul General, to get their attention. And we had a call with them also this morning. It's already going for a while, the preparation. And they will donate and platform information and other things that I will explain shortly that we saw already. Oscar.
Okay, so let's start talking a little bit about the Rhode Island's background. It's the smallest state in the United States. It's at northeast of the 1 hour from Boston. Taking information from the last census and the projection in 2018, we calculate the population around 1,057,000 people. The Hispanic population in the last estimation is around 170,000. And we expect that in the near future, with the new census, we will see a growing in that number. We have people from Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Guatemala, Colombia, Mexico. Venezuela has been growing the representation in this state too. So it's basically the biggest population from those countries. We represent around the 16% of the total population in the state. Again, we will have new numbers in after the census 2020. And talking about the amount of business, we have a number of 99,000 small business in Rhode Island. but we calculate that the Latino business is around 4,000, 5,000 business active in Rhode Island. Talking about the program, okay, as I explained at the beginning, we want to recruit students from different college and universities, and weeks provide training to make them specialists, expert in the platform in order to help us to create web pages. We will match those students with a small business, Hispanic business, that they don't have access to technology, they don't have presence online. So we see this project like the great opportunity to provide, thanks to Wix, who is giving us 50 premium licenses with no cost for 1 year, and the training for no cost to those students. So we see that it's a great opportunity to integrate a student, Hispanic student, with those business. We will have an event announcement. We will create prize or award for those students. So we will have a group of judges, and they will evaluate which will be the best website. So after that decision, and we're grading the work done by the student, we'll have the announcement of the winner and prize presentation. Okay. Do you want to continue?
If I may say something, is this is only a pilot, and we have weeks talking with us. If that is a successful pilot, to expand it to hundreds of numbers in Rhode Island, and then perhaps through the Hispanic community with Oscar and his team to have it in the United States. And I have to say, that's one thing I like, that here in Rhode Island, we are running a pilot that might be a sample for the whole country. And I think that's really, for me, very heartwarming. Yes. Heartwarming that we can do it together with the Hispanic community and their amazing team.
Yeah, in fact, Avi, as you said, that this is a pilot project because Rhode Island Hispanic Chamber is part of the National Association of State Latino Chamber of Commerce. We are planning in the near future after the project to work with them in order to identify other Latino population that need to have presence, and we will expand the project nationally.
If I can say so, really, what we're looking here is take students from the different universities in Rhode Island, and we hope that will be from all the universities. We'll engage with them, probably 5 to 10 from every university, and then teach them a skill. So not only they will know to do the web page for that individual person that they will be matched to, we give them a skill. They can take it, they can create their own web page, they can create a business. And so rather than just, as we say, don't give a fish, but teach how to fish, I think that will be. And for the small business, today, if you don't have internet presence, you're not existing in essence, especially with coronavirus. And we started to talk it a year ago, and I'll tell you a story how we got it, kind of interesting. My wife is a physician here in Cranston, and she said business is a little bit down, and it's like, what are you doing for marketing? And she said, I have Yellow Pages. And I'm like, oh my God. And so we went, and I did a web page for her. And then after a few weeks, she said, oh, people told us it's a web page and called us. And the truth is the matter. If you a small business, you can be a tailor, you can be a doctor. If you don't have internet presence today, you're not existing, because traffic on the street is almost zero with COVID. So I think that's very important to have it. And if we can help and work together, that's great. Oscar.
Yeah, and to continue what you're saying, the online presence, the business owner need to change because of the circumstances. They have to change the business model, and now everything will be online, will be remote. The communication with customers, with providers, and so we see that will be a huge benefit for the community. We will have prizes for the students. For $1,000 for the first place, $500 for second place, and $250 for the third place. We will have also give from Wix and from other organizations. During the morning, we had a meeting with the Asaf, who is representing Wix, and he is so excited with this project. We were talking about t-shirts with the Wix and hats, so that will be very interesting what we have. With the anticipated outcome, before to leave, Avi talked about that. This morning we talk about this. It's not just the connection, it's not just the student, it's not just the business. It's creating new jobs. It's giving the opportunity to collaborate and to support the economy of the state through the creation of new jobs. So we will have 50 new business present on the internet, not just the web page, as Avi said, but also learning about the social media and how to do e-commerce through the internet. We will have, of course, 50 students educated in the use of Wix platform that could finish like a business for them. They will have a tool and they will have knowledge and experience to start their own businesses. We are talking about creating a perpetual 2-year program to continue to grow the small businesses, not just those 50. We want to continue doing this and expand to other communities. We are in conversation, I mentioned before, with the National Association of Chamber of Commerce. So we are thinking this is a program that could expand through the United States. Okay.
And I have to say that this is only a beginning. And we talk with Wix, and they're very excited about it, and they really great partners. And we know, and as a matter of fact, today, Asaf from Wix, the guy that is our liaison on that, mentioned to us that they have a new pilot they're going to start to run, and if they're successful, he would like to potentially do Rhode Island again as the first one. And remember, Wix is $1 billion company, so that's I feel very honored that we, Rhode Island, and our team here were able to work with them together. And so, but we need all your help. We have initial funding. We had the licenses, but I feel, and I think Oscar feels very strongly with me, it's a community effort. You have to have a team of people that nourish it, that help it. So what we're looking for, obviously, we need some sponsors because we're going to have to pay some. We'll have expense to hire a manager for the program. We would like to have some mentors that can work with the students. Sometimes, even if they write a web page for someone, if they can give them a business advice, how to present something, the graphics. So mentors are welcome. We will need judges. Remember, we have 50 groups, a student with a business, and we'll have a competition, and the judges will have to come and judge. We have recruiters, people that will help us to recruit the students through the universities, and we're going to approach all the universities. And if anybody here from the university listen to it, please let us know. Oscar email is below, and myself. And again, small businesses, and obviously, if anybody knows on a small Hispanic business that need help, and please connect them with Oscar. And by the way, the web pages will be in Spanish and in English. So the requirement for the student will be to be able to fluent in English and Spanish. Doesn't have to be a Hispanic person. If you're very successful in languages and you speak English and Spanish very well, we want to do a good job for those businesses. So please, people that will help us with the marketing, with the media, and then financial support. So we need everybody helps. It's a community effort. And remember, as I said, if we're successful, and I hope we will be successful, I'm sure we will, with the team that we have, that's going to be growing, and it's, again, creating job for Rhode Island. We educate young people. So it's a win-win. It's a net win for the community. And we just honored to be partnering with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We honored that the Lieutenant Governor give us an audience and his support and encouragement. And as you can see, it's his fault, as I said in the beginning.
Well, Well, Avi and Oscar, that's a great presentation. We encourage everybody that's watching this to share and to also contact our office as much as contacting. You see the contact information for Avi as well as the Hispanic Chamber. We can go directly to them, or you can go to ltgov20@gmail.com. Let us know you're interested in being a mentor or a sponsor, or if you have a family member who is in college that is in Rhode Island or outside Rhode Island, because there's a great deal of virtual learning going on right now that would like to participate. This is a career track for many of these young students. This is a resume builder for many of these young students, and what an opportunity you're providing there. So we'll be working with you, both of you, to make sure that if you need letters of introduction or from our office or endorsement letters that go to the schools or go to any of the families out there, we'll make sure that we'll try to get this information out. When do you anticipate to actually physically begin the program?
We want to start to recruit tomorrow morning, and basically with the next month. And as I said, we have a whole program layout, and it might be moving a week up and down. Just a second, I'm trying to bring the right slide here. Here we are. So we have a whole timetable. We're more than happy to share with anybody that presentation. If anybody wants, Lieutenant Governor, please let us know or write us. We want it to be shared with the community. So that's a timetable. And again, it's moved. A lot of background is done in the past, but so that's
we should be up and running by the beginning of next year, right? By January, I would think.
No, we will be running starting in mid-October. Okay. So in November, we will start training, connecting business, the creation of content that will take some days, some weeks. So we, in our timeline, we will finish this project in February next year.
Great. Well, we're going to wrap this up right now, but we're going to come back, bring you back in and give us updates, and maybe bring some of those students on, on board that are working with some of the businesses that are going to be working with you. There's many factors here. Some of the sponsors. We'll get to that. And Oscar, just between us here, and everybody who's listening, we can't wait to host the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the National Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, right here in Rhode Island. So hopefully this is going to open up the doors, and I can't wait to be be able to help make that happen, Oscar. So
of course, it will be a pleasure to work with you, connect with the National Association. Thank you.
Well, good evening to both of you, and thank you for the ambassador being here, and let's keep up the good work, helping bring our communities together. This is a case study in how to actually do that, and it's a credit to you, Avi and Oscar, for making this happen. So we'll keep everybody posted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a phenomenal program. Call our office if you want to get involved. In any shape, form. Be a business, a Hispanic business that needs the help on the websites. Be a sponsor financially. Be a mentor. Be a student that is providing the web design strategies, and then participate with Wix, who is that corporate sponsor that has a great deal of value for us. So that was great to be able to share that out. We're going to take a shift right now, though, and talk about a very important project that has been long overdue. And Ben, could you maybe run the video, and then we'll bring on Mike, and I believe Charlie's here, and Rep Azanero, I believe. Hopefully all three of them are here. But is there a way that you could run that 2-minute tape just to kind of set this up as before we actually get into this conversation, which talks about the fine, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Margie O'Brien. Welcome to Legislative Insight. Loyalty, dedication, discipline, often the words used to describe those who serve their country. The same attributes can be said for a group of organizers that vowed to create a memorial to honor Rhode Island's fallen Marines, the Beirut 9.
I look up towards the heaven, and the words of a famous hymn comes to my mind. If the Army and Navy ever look on heaven's scenes, they will find the streets are guarded by the United States Marines. Semper Fi.
Almost 37 years to the day, a terrorist attack claimed the lives of 9 Rhode Island Marines. A memorial honoring them and their sacrifice was unveiled. The stone wall stands along the Providence River, the faces of the fallen etched in glass. The entire event had all the criteria befitting a hero celebration. A week earlier, the families were allowed to get a sneak peek of the memorial, giving them time to reflect on what it means to them.
To see
Yeah, that gives it a setup, as I said, of the October 23rd, 1983 Beirut bombing, where hundreds of our soldiers were killed in that first terrorist attack against the United States on a peacekeeping mission, by the way, and nine of our Marines died during that attack, that terrorist attack. So, Ben, please bring on Rep. Azzanero along with Mike and Charlie, Michael Harris there, and Charlie Masterson. And welcome, everybody. I know this has been an effort that has been really, really important to all three of you, as many of other people as well. But we felt as though that we could kind of cover this topic over the next half an hour or so. So we educate people about why we did the work, why that work was done, why we set up that beautiful memorial on remembrance there, and how it happened, and why people need to go down and see this to get a feel of the courage and the sacrifice, not only of the soldiers but also of the families that were impacted by that terrorist attack. Rep. Azzanero, please start with you, because I know you are the chairman of the House committee, and the chairman of the committee that has worked on totally about 5, 6, 7 years on this. So give us a quick overview of how we got to where we are right now, and then I want to go to Charlie and to Mike because he's a special person in this entire conversation, having actually been physically there on October 23rd, 1983. Go ahead, Rep. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, good evening, Governor. How are you?
Good.
Good. Well, let me tell you, when I was vice chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee in the State House after the election in, I believe it's 2014 or 15, the chairman of the committee got beaten in an election in a primary. And after we got back to session, I asked the speaker, I said, I'd like to be the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee. And he said, "You sure you want to do this?" I said, "Absolutely." So he appointed me chairman of the Veterans Affairs. And the first thing that my clerk, Jerry, I think everybody knows Jerry, says to me is, "Chairman, you've got to get this Beirut Memorial done." We did the bill. Jan Malik, former rep, him and I sponsored the bill and got the commission going, and off we went. And what I hadn't realized was when I became chairman, I went to the Portsmouth ceremony for 2 years in a row, and I didn't even know this was happening in our state of Rhode Island, because hey, Portsmouth like on the other side of the world from Westerly. So, you never heard about these, but it was quite a moving ceremony. And then talking with Mike Harris, who was in the State House, and we said we've got to get a monument done in Providence, and away we went.
Yeah, and
that
the
was,
reality, Rep, I did speak to Rep. Jen Malik yesterday. Thanked him for being at the ceremony, and also thanked him for leadership with you on moving it forward. So we know that the House representatives and through your leadership had a great deal to do with what's going on. And I just want to have Charlie get the opportunity to kind of step in here and give us a little historical perspective on this, Charlie, in terms of, the roller coaster that the committee that you're part of, in terms of location, in terms of funding, and, which the General Assembly was very, very supportive of. But give us a little overview, and give us, as a former Marine yourself, why this was a project that was so important to honor the Rhode Island Nine.
Oh, what happened?
The whole process. I got to thank Sergeant Major Ed Kane for getting me on the committee. That was due to the ceremony in Portsmouth, and I was involved in that for 7 years. And Mikey, I didn't even know Mikey at the time, and Mikey was attending the ceremony, and along with Sergeant Major Chuck O'Connor, who was the brother-in-law of Timmy. He's my co-chair, and then we recruited Valerie, Timmy's widow, and then we his gold star, and then we even had Anna. So we used to meet over at Eastside Marketplace, and it was very cathartic to get everybody together. It's tragic. There's no way about it. It's tragic. It's terrible, and it's the worst thing in the world. But
and Charlie, you were able to work directly with these Gold Star families as well, right?
Yes, and enlisting their help. It's kind of hard to put into words, but to see them smile, there's tears involved also, but to see them smile because of the turnout, because we turned it into such a good event, tragic event. But state police, Portsmouth police, Portsmouth Historical Society, the building, it's drawn attention to that building. They've been able to get grant money to improve their building. They've been able to improve their grounds, and that, Shirley Danick, she started this 29 years ago, and then when she couldn't do it anymore, I got a phone call 15 days out, and then I got another phone call, and thank God for Facebook, because I didn't know how I was going to get it done, but I put on Facebook that the ceremony was going to continue, and I got the call. And I got the hard sniff from a sergeant major, and he wanted to know who I was and what was my connection. And basically, we kept it tight. You had to have skin in the game, to believe in the mission. To honor
and so Charlie,
remember.
Yeah, and Charlie, let's talk about the mission. I want to go to Mike right now, and Mike, share with us. You and I have had this conversation publicly like this on a different broadcast that we've had, and our offices, have done whatever we're able to do in a small way to support it. But you have this experience, right? That you lived through, and please share that to a degree of why this this monument, why that dedication was important, and and maybe give a little backfill that I can't give, Sam can't give, and Charlie can give to a certain degree because of his service, but you were there. So give us a little thought, bring us back to October 23rd a little bit, and so that the people who are watching this, and I'm asking people to share this as well with everybody. It kind of gave an overview in the introductory video that we just played. We're going to play a video on the way out as well, but yeah, please share what you're willing to share, Mike, and thank you so much for your leadership on this, so that we're remembering those families in a way that gives honor and remembrance.
Good evening, Governor. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the support to the Rhode Island 9 family, and also just supporting the Rhode Island 9 in general. Good evening, Chairman Charlie. It's always good to see you too. This has been a journey. It's almost 37 years. Just give you a little background. I entered the Marine Corps at the age of 17, right out of high school. Less than 6 months later, I was preparing to be deployed to Beirut, Lebanon. As I mentioned, Sunday, which was a great day. It was a beautiful day. It was a lot of work, put in years and years, some ups and some downs. If it wasn't for Speaker Mattiello, Leader Shikachi and his whole leadership, this would never got done. It's been a journey. The families haven't been able to, see their loved ones be honored by the state. They've had memorials in Portsmouth, like Charlie spoke of, yearly, and which is a beautiful event. But the state hasn't officially honored the Rhode Island 9. And Sunday, that was the first day, and it was a great day. Just to bring it back, obviously, a lot of people, are familiar. Some are, maybe some aren't. October 23rd, 1983. That was actually the first war on terrorism that the U.S. experienced. That morning at 6:22 a.m., a dump truck with 2 tons of explosive broke the barrier and crashed into the building. Unfortunately, we had 241 servicemen that perished that morning. The building collapsed. It was approximately about 100 of us survived in this building. I'm very fortunate. I was blown out of the building, so a lot of the debris didn't fall on me like the other Marines. So I'm blessed.
Yeah.
So it's been many years that we've been waiting for this day.
Yeah, and Mike, I think it was talked about with the Gold Star families, along with we had other Rhode Islanders that came back home that were very attached, or they could have even been there in Beirut at the time, but it was a healing moment in a lot of ways. What happened on Sunday, right?
This has been a healing moment for me for the last 4 years. It's I'm grateful by the leadership from Chairman Azzanaro and the whole commission itself. Their empathy and their compassion. The dedication. When I tell you, there was days that it was difficult. It was frustrating. Roadblocks. But these are all veterans that are on this commission. They knew what the mission was, and they didn't back down. And as you saw Sunday, that's a beautiful memorial. It was a lot of time, hard work. A lot of effort, and just a lot of thought in making sure it was a place where people could actually go learn about this incident. Family members could go reflect and and just sit there.
Yeah, and I want to get back to Sam and Charlie, Sam in particular, about the location, so that people can kind of get an idea of where this is located. And anybody who's going to be at Waterfire is going to be seeing this, along with anybody that's walking along the, along the river, in Providence, But give us an idea. There's Mike talking on Sunday. But give us an idea, Sam, of, there was different locations, different investment and different models, but finally got to here and explain where it is so people can kind of get an idea of where this is located as well. But give us the journey to get here first, physically, in terms of the location.
Well, thanks, Governor. We actually going to put this on the State House grounds in parallel to the God of Heroes, kind of balance things off. If you're looking at the State House from the town, the God of Heroes is on the left side. There was nothing on the right, so we figured we'd have the memorial built there. But after roughly a year and a half of planning and architectural design, I was told that we couldn't put it there. I don't want to go into too many details because I was highly upset after a year and a half of meetings and planning to say that we couldn't put it there. So anyway, Jonathan DePaul, who was unbelievable in this project.
Yes, that's why I want you to mention him.
That's right. He was tremendous. He is tremendous. He searched a variety of places. Once was across the street from State House, by the what is that building right across the pink building across from?
That's your administration building. That's your administration building.
Right. He thought they were talking about the playground area there, and then we went and we looked at the Korean monument is the World War I and World War II monuments in downtown, and we thought we could maybe fit it in there, and then that didn't seem to work out, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Jonathan says, "I think I've got the spot," and the committee went there. Where it is now, it's Peck and Dyer Street.
Yep.
Across, it's across from Curcio's restaurant, and it's just about across the street from there. But it was just bramble bush and but you could visualize what could be put there. And when the what is it, Toronto? I'm not saying his name.
Yeah,
Louis
Torado, yeah.
Torado. These guys were phenomenal on the concept that they could come up with, to look at a piece of property and say, this is what we can do here. So then you had to go, Jonathan, again, had to go through the city of Providence for permits for this. We had to go to the state to get the land turned over to on and on. And I was permitting and back and forth state. The city, who else? Anybody?
Yeah.
Well,
you need it. I remember meeting with you and Mayor Laws after we had a ceremony right on the Korean Korean War monument, and we talked about a place next to Hemingway's. That didn't quite happen, but in the end, you had cooperation from many players, including National Grid, as well as the city. Mayor Loza, you needed everybody's help to make this happen, besides what Mike was talking about in terms of the financial help, Sam, that you were really championed in the General Assembly with the Speaker and leader. So let's make sure we get people out to see this. Charlie, go ahead, Sam. Do you have something else you want to say about that issue?
That's the walkway right now is like Jonathan said, they figure there's like 10,000 people a day that are going to walk by this monument. So it's in a spot where I don't think it would have been any better anywhere else. I think we hit a home run. We hit a home run.
We were and we were disappointed on some of the roller coaster that we were on, and even Rep. Malik was telling me in his call yesterday. He says it's in the right spot. People who worked on this got to it, and they were able to get it to the right spot. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to see this, especially in the evening where it's the backlighting on the monument is just fabulous in terms of the design, like you said, with Louis Tirado and everybody that worked on it. Charlie, just give us a little bit of what you felt like when, after all this work that's just been described on Sunday. You thank many, many, many people. We don't have enough time to thank everybody that you thank, but give us your sense of, your feeling of the accomplishment in your mind, and what did it mean to you to be part of this, effort?
Be on this committee was an honor. These gentlemen never gave up. To go down to the monument, and I go at all different hours. It's very tranquil, and I go there a lot. And I go there. Michael goes there a lot too, and you absorb it. There's so many different levels. There's not one standout. It's just everything lays in so well. The water, the tranquil. You're in the bustling city, but it's very tranquil there. You can sit, you can reflect, you can sit on the bench, you can look at the faces, you can walk by, you can see the pennies that people are leaving. That's an old military thing where people visit, like gravestones, and they leave coins. Nobody's disturbed the coins. There's a rosary hanging on one of the Marines. Nobody's disturbed it. To me, it's hallowed ground. Really, seriously. You go there at nighttime. The guys kept on telling me it's magnificent. It's this, it's that. I got done with the ceremony. I was really tired. Me and Mikey were putting in some hours Saturday. Trying to make it up to Marine standard. And I went home, got out of my suit, jumped in the shower, got out of the shower, got dressed, grabbed the keys, got in the car from Middletown, drove back up to Providence, and I just had to experience it, and it was beautiful. The lighting.
Yeah, Charlie, it is. I mean, it's extraordinary, and I know that the Assistant Secretary Navy, who was there at the dedication, which added even more meaning in many ways to bring a national leader like himself here and talking about this. But you know what it reminded me certainly on a smaller scale to a certain degree, but it was the 9/11 monument, when the same feeling I got when I went through there in New York City, in terms of like the terrorist issues that were very related, smaller scale, but big idea, right? That it represents. So Charlie, thank you for sharing that. Mike, I did dig up I wanted to at least show, I think that we need to show a little bit about that 1983 so that people who are watching this can see it. So I'm going to run I think you're ready. Ben, are you ready to run just a short tape? It's just a short tape of, unless you actually see this and you didn't live through it, I think that, seeing physically where it is makes some sense. So let's just run this for a couple minutes, and then we'll get back to the panel and talk about the monument and the day, and also why this work was done.
After 37 years at today's TMJ4, Mike Jacobs is retiring. And over the course of his career, he's covered hundreds, if not thousands, of stories.
One such story back in the 80s had Jake wondering if he was going to make it home alive. Take a look.
The gruesome search for bodies continued today. Rescue workers did, in fact, find more bodies. And with each discovery, the task became more painful.
The official toll now tops 160 dead and more than 180 wounded, not counting one body that was pulled from the debris while News 4 was on the scene this afternoon. Rescue crews worked quickly today, clearing tons of rubble, but much remains to be done. Marine officials expect to find even more bodies, and they have all but given up hope of finding anyone else alive. News 4 has confirmed the names of 5 Wisconsin Marines who were not hurt in the blast: Kelly Urbanek of Green Bay, R.J. Raflick of Random Lake, J.J. Jacobson of Kenosha, Gerald Hackman of Manitowoc, and Lieutenant Joseph Golobiowski of New Berlin.
Been pretty pretty hectic.
A list of
Trying to just sort things out and see what the total effect of this tragedy is going to be.
How are the Marines taking it?
I think they're taking it pretty well, better than you might normally think. This is a significant blow to us, but everyone has just been working very hard trying to get the situation straightened out.
How do you handle the threat to your life?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't think about it.
A list of survivors, dead and wounded, is still being compiled, but the disaster is by far the worst since the Marines have been in Lebanon. Mike Jacobs, News 4 in Beirut.
Yeah, so I think that to understand, for the people who are watching this, please share this out as well. To understand the impact of that event, you got to kind of see the collapse of that building and how that, the experience of what went on, to understand why so many people in Rhode Island, including the Gold Star families, including Mike and other people who served with him, including Charlie and who has served in the Marines as well, and the political leadership felt it was so important for people to remember this, Mike. Right? So, I just want to. You don't need to comment about what you just saw. I think people need to see that terrorist attack and the fact that to have Rhode Island so so involved there. Tell us would you mind sharing, you at the mic, you shared a story about how you received a visitor, when you were first, stationed there. It was a very powerful story. I know you shared it publicly the other day. If you don't mind just talking about that, because that was one of the individuals that we're honoring, on Sunday.
Yeah, it was a story that I have never spoke about publicly for many years. Well, as I mentioned earlier, 6 months after graduating boot camp, I was preparing to deploy to Beirut. And at the time, when people say, "Oh, you're going to Beirut," I never heard of Beirut, Lebanon. And it's not like today, you can just grab your phone and just Google a location and find out, okay, it's 5,000 miles away from Rhode Island. In the 1950s, it was considered Paris of the Middle East, a very popular tourist location. Fortunately, since the 1950s, and even to this day, it's a very hostile place to be. The Marines 1-8, and we went there as peacekeepers.
Yeah.
In May of '83, and when I first landed on land, it was eye-opening. As a young 18-year-old, from Rhode Island, I never saw anything like this. It was a war-torn city. So after several weeks of just trying to get settled in, a few firefights, Condition ones would be when we would have to go into shelters because we were receiving incoming artillery. One day, the other Marines in my room, which was a total of 8 of us, only 2 of us survived, said, "Hey, Mike, you have a visitor." And so I'm in Beirut. I'm like, "Who's visiting me in Beirut?" So in walks this corporal, and at the time I was just a PFC, and PFCs didn't really talk to corporals and sergeants. We just did what they told us to do. So it was kind of like eye-opening when he walked in, and he extended his hand. He said, "Are you Mike Harris from Rhode Island? You're from Woonsocket?" And I said, "I am." And he said, "I'm from Rhode Island. I'm originally from Providence. I lived in North Providence also." And he identified himself as Corporal Tim Giblin. And he said, "The reason I know that you're from Rhode Island, I work in administrative, and I look up all the social security numbers, so I know who's from Rhode Island. And at that time, the brief conversation kept going, but he was basically saying that it was 10 of us in the building, and it was several other Rhode Island Marines in the line companies down the airport runway, including his brother, Donnie Giblin. So we continued to talk and embrace, and he basically was telling me, hey, listen, us Rhode Islanders stick together. You need anything, I know everyone, come see me. Like I said, I was a PFC at the time, and he was a corporal, and he was pretty seasoned. And he said, don't worry about anything. So it was really reassuring. And so, shook my hand, gave me, patted me on the back and said, don't worry, everything's gonna be good. So when he left, the other PFCs in our room were like, wow, that's pretty cool. You got a homeboy here, he's looking out for you. And it was reassuring. I sat back in my rack and I was like, this guy didn't forget where he came from. So basically the moral of the story I was, saying Sunday was, it's been 37 years. And now I officially can say Rhode Island hasn't forgotten, the Rhode Island 9 and Tim, so it's a good feeling. A lot of people don't realize even though Rhode Island is a smaller state, we had equaled the largest fatalities that day, which was 9. So, when you got states like New York, California, Texas, and you have the same amount of fatalities, that's eye-opening.
Yeah, Mike, you remember where you came from, and the families realize that as well. And so I want to just thank you for coming and sharing that, because I think we have in order to have people understand, thousands of people that are going to see that, when they're watching this, they're going to want to go down and to that monument and pay respects because of the stories that you've told, the firsthand stories you told, and that's why our office and myself has been impacted in such a way where, like I said, the small amount that we could do, we were very encouraged to do it because of you and because of Tim's brother and because of the Gold Star families in terms of let's make sure we recognize these individuals. Let's remember and honor them. Just as the quote that I used was from John Kennedy when I was speaking, right? That a country, a nation's, is measured not only by the quality of the individuals, but also how we honor and remember those individuals. And I would just paraphrase that Rhode Island not only has produced great people to serve, but Rhode Island on Sunday was living up to that quote by President Kennedy that we honored and we remembered. And so that was very important.
Yeah, Governor, you're absolutely right. I think, I want to thank you, Craig, for all the work that your office has done to get this message out. That's one of the most important things. Beirut Veterans of America have a motto that is the first duty is to remember. And by you publicizing it and getting the message out, more people will, like you said, will go down there and they'll tell their children and they'll pass that information on, and we'll be able to say the first duty is to remember and never forget.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. And well, I want to thank you for being here, Mike, and sharing that. But I want to go back to Sam, kind of, as you see that video of Beirut and the shambles and the explosion that was there, which is described at the, on a tonnage basis, larger than anything since World War II, right in that building where Mike was, and 9 of our, fallen heroes were. Just give us your thoughts, Sam, how you felt on Sunday and actually accomplishing this. Not every mission that we set out to do as government officials we accomplish, but you got a mission accomplished there, Sam. So give us your thinking there on behalf of the committee that you represented, because it's not, as it's been pointed out, it's not just one person, although it did require leadership from a handful of people on this, and you're one of them. So Sam, give us like your little closing comments on this. And we're going to, when we leave, we're going to run a little bit more of the footage from Sunday so people can enjoy that in a way that it was meant to be enjoyed.
Thank you, Governor. I would be remiss if we didn't mention Tower Construction. Al Poulos and his crew were phenomenal as to what they did on this project. And I understand that, if I'm not mistaken, his wife, I believe, knew one of the Marines that lost their lives that day, 1983, which made him even more aware of what to do for fallen Marines. But it's just such an honor to be involved with these people. My committee that worked on this, they were there for every meeting. Whether we met at the State House on a Monday morning at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or whatever, or if we met at the site a few times to look at things and go over everything with. And Carol Cornelison, another troop in this event, along with Smiley. We didn't see that much. I know he was 100% behind this project. So, I'll steal a phrase from Kasim Yan. It takes a village. Well, it took the state, it took the city, it took the different departments in the city, and everybody involved just knew how important this project was. And when you watch a video of that bombing, it rips your heart out. And again, you remember 9/11 when we watched those planes hit the towers, and that building came tumbling down. Over 3,000 people died that day. Terrorism is in our yard. It hasn't gone away. We might think it has, but look out. Keep alert, and never forget. As the Mike and Charlie saying, never forget. And we won't. Now that monument is there, I tell you, I was so relieved, and I know we were all nervous about it. Come Sunday morning, Saturday night, I don't know if we slept all, but everything went off without a hitch. It was absolutely perfect. The weather, even the weather, it started raining when we ended. Yep. So it was absolutely perfect. And I thank everybody, my committee, I can't thank them enough for the work they put in. Charlie, they're down there taking videos at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning, saying hello to everybody that walked by. And it was great. Following him on Facebook, keeping us up to date, and the comments that he got from people who were watching it and said, thank you, Charlie, thank you for doing this for us. But I think the families were truly happy with how this all came to pass.
Yeah, Rep, and I would just say, experiencing it there and being part of it, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak, on Sunday. And sometimes when you're at something that's special, a light lit, a bell rings in your head and saying, this is really special. This is something really, really special. This is something where, this is something that you're going to take away. You're never going to forget that ceremony. And the reason you're not is because of the background, not only the work that led up to it, but that horrific terrorism attack on our Rhode Islanders. That's every piece of it got to a point where you just sat there and said, this is very special and something that I'll never forget that I was at that ceremony. So I encourage people to go down there, experience firsthand, just like you would, like I said, at the 9/11 in New York City. It's not as big, but it's that big idea of, like Michael said, is that we're remembering, and it's right here in Rhode Island, and it didn't happen it didn't happen without a lot of work on behalf of a number of people, on behalf of people who really deserved the efforts that was made to recognize their families, right? The family members, right? So
I can't wait to see it at night.
Yes.
I'd just love to see that lit up like that. I've got to get up there at night.
Well, I want to thank you, Rep, and Charlie here, and Mike, for sharing your experience and that, that really what we heard tonight. We heard about October 23rd, 1983, and we filled in the blanks, through the Portsmouth efforts. But now you've established a permanent monument that is going to live for a century or more, and it recognizes this importance of those people who serve to protect our freedoms. And some of our servicemen and women, they protect our freedoms by shielding our freedom with their lives, and that's what was recognized on Sunday. So thank you for everybody for being here tonight. Ben, could you just, I don't want to make a closing comment, please run the last video that we had, and then we'll go off the air with that, because that is a special thing for people to see and appreciate.
To see yet another memory for others that will remember what was truly given for their freedom. And this memorial says it all, from the beginning to the end. And to see their pictures. I have a brother, James Sylvia, and my brother-in-law, Stephen Spencer. They were both there. They were in the basement.
The Marines said a speeding pickup truck crashed through barriers and exploded in the lobby of the headquarters building where Marines were sleeping. The blast opened a crater 30 feet deep and 40 feet across, causing the 4-story structure to collapse, killing, trapping, and injuring those inside.
The day we buried Jimmy and told us Stephen was found. And just seeing this, just peaceful, thankful, remembered.
There's no other words that I can say to express how grateful we are for what you've done. And like you said, our first duty is to remember. So we must remember. In order to remember, we can't forget.
These were just boys before they went into the Marines. And to know their story, you must talk to the families.
He loved the Marine Corps. He wanted to make a career out of it. And then after that, he wanted to go in law enforcement.
So
they were known as the Beirut brothers in Beirut.
Yeah.
They were always together.
I had another brother over there too. I had two brothers over there. So one came home, had to take his little brother, his best friend, home to his wife and to his mother and to his family. And he lives with that to this day. Pretty overwhelming, I got to say that. It's like it came to life. And so it's mixed emotions, because it's a time to reflect, also time for sadness and sorrow. It's a really, really good tribute to these Marines and sacrifices they made.
James Francis Sylvia was my inspiration to join the Marine Corps. He was the nicest kid in high school, and it really affected me what happened. But seeing Jimmy, it's like, wow, Jimmy could do it. Maybe I could do it. So that's what I did. I ended up joining the Marine Corps. 37 years in the making. It lends itself. I come down here during different parts of the day. It's very tranquil. It's very reflective. You get a sense of peace, even though it's a tragic happening for the families, the nine Rhode Island families, and for the state of Rhode Island. The state got this right. The state got this right.
It had to have 5 points. And when it was all said and done, the design had to be contemplative, prayer. It had to be church-like. It had to be in a high traffic area. We're estimating about 10,000 people coming through this area on the walk each and every day, more so with water fire. We worked with CRMC. CRMC dredged behind over here, so that it's in hopes when the COVID ends, we can start water fire and going through that. The second part is it had to show history. When it was all said and done, we have the wheelchair accessible stuff, and as well as the braille that came into play. We were able to put this forth so we would have what happened pre. And there was a lot of stuff that happened pre, but we also defined it by a teachable moment. We could go, at that point, we could go to the post of the event. It's a teachable place. So we've learned some place to where it was all said and done. And there's a story to be told, and now it will be told time and time again.
It was something that was never forgotten. And this is what it's all about. We never forget, because these people, these soldiers gave their lives for the freedom of our country and other countries. We don't fight just for the United States of America. We fight for the world.
The foot traffic, the educational moment. People will be able to learn. Anybody with any disabilities, they'll be able to be part of it. They can read the storyboards. They can read each Marine's bio just by touch. They can see the faces. It's a very interactive monument.
Their story, like they said, the first duty is to remember. But in order to remember, you must not forget. And that is the story of these Marines and what happened when they were over in Beirut. And the best way you can explain and get the story is talk to the Beirut veterans who were there. They'll tell you the story.
I had some cousins who were Marines, and I looked up to them. And I pleaded with my mom to allow me to go into the Marines. I went in at the age of 17, right out of high school. It's an experience being in the Marine Corps that I'll always respect, love, talk about bond, building brotherhood, just loyalty, discipline. It helped me through my whole life. I survived because I was blown out of the building. And so when the building fell, it didn't completely fall on me. Obviously, there was a lot of debris that was blown around that I got injured, but I was very fortunate. It was the purple heart. That's what I received on that day. Yeah. This is part of healing. Part of healing. This is therapy. This is definitely therapy. I'm so happy for the family, the Marines. It's been long overdue.
Never forget. It's always about honor, respect, and remembering that freedom is not free, that people have stepped up because they love this country.
For Legislative Insight, I'm Margie O'Brien reporting.